Hey everyone, we're just waiting for Reanne.
Hi,
How are you?
good. How are you?
Good, welcome. It's so nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here. And to everyone watching at home, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Meg Storm, and I am the editorial director here at Edit, and I am so thrilled to be joined this evening by Reanne Kelly, aka the Master Aesthetician, which, by the way, is the best handle on the face
Oh,
of the earth.
thank you.
Such a good one and such an apt description of who you are. And I am so excited to have her with us to kick off a series that we here at Edit are calling Routine Maintenance. And it's going to be kind of deep dives into some of our favorite topics with beauty, health, and wellness experts. And I'm really excited to be kicking this off with you, talking about one of my favorite things, and I think it's one of your favorite things as well, skincare. And so Reanne, if you don't follow her, as I said, her handle is the.master.aesthetician. And her feed is truly just like a skincare lover's paradise. So many mesmerizing treatment videos. Like I feel like I go down a rabbit hole. And then beyond that, just like some really witty and fun kind of skincare mantras that always make me smile. So excited to have you with us tonight. Reanne, to start, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Yeah, so I am a master esthetician in Washington State, and I have a practice called Whisperwood, and it's a satellite location of my business partner's location, Talks Josh, who is in Nashville. So I'm sure a lot of people follow him too, and if they're not, they should because he's hilarious.
He's awesome.
And I've been an esthetician now for coming up on 12 years now. And I've kind of worked in it all. I've been in med spas, day spas, hotel spas. So most recently, probably the last, over 6-7 years, it's been more of the med spa and diving deeper into that because I really love that side of it and being able to make really big changes in people's skin.
Absolutely. No, I think skincare is one of those things that's just so rewarding because you really can see changes, and those changes I think really can change your confidence and change who you are and how you feel about yourself.
It's the best feeling when we're able to achieve that for our clients, and you can just tell that they just feel so much better about themselves and their confidence. And I mean, they were already beautiful to begin with, but now they actually feel beautiful.
Love that. Well, what we're going to talk about tonight is how to really kind of curate your own at-home routine, because if you don't have someone like Reanne who you see regularly, or if because of COVID maybe you haven't been seeing your skincare professional as often, what you do at home really does matter and really is important. So we're going to spend the next little bit talking about how to kind of create your perfect routine and regimen for both morning and evening, including the ingredients you should be using, which is a topic that comes up a lot for us at Edit, and I'm sure you get asked about all the time, Reanne.
Yeah.
So we're going to deep dive into that, and also how to transition your skincare routine for winter. I'm in New York, and we're bracing for what seems to be a big snowstorm coming. So winter is definitely upon us. So we're going to learn a few tips for that. And then I'm going to tease for the end, so definitely stick around. We're going to do a little demo on a self-care ritual that you can add to the end of your skincare routine. We really at Edit believe that skincare is self-care, and hopefully by the end of this you will too, and Reanne's going to make us all believers. So to start, Reanne, can you kind of talk about, generally speaking, what is the importance of having a good skincare routine?
Honestly, a good skincare routine is everything. I mean, I'm lucky if I get to touch somebody's skin every 4 to 6 weeks. You know, we're touching our skin twice a day, every day. So it makes a huge impact. And when somebody asks, like, should I invest in treatments or home care? I'm going to say home care because that's the brunt of the work. And I always say it's a team effort, but I mean, you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. And if you don't have a good routine, you're not going to get as good of results with us. So a good home care routine is so important. You know, it's like dieting. You know, I always say we're like personal trainers. Like, you can come with us and work out with us, but then if you go home and eat McDonald's, you know, or do nothing, you know, nothing's going to happen. So a good skincare foundation is really, really, really important.
And how do you recommend that someone start that? Do you kind of, depending on your skin concerns, do you think going to your dermatologist, or if you have an esthetician or someone who you trust with your skin, is that kind of a good way to consult to start to get a feel for what your skin type even is?
Absolutely. I think going to an esthetician is great because we can really spend the time with you and really conduct a really thorough routine for
Yeah.
you. And we can really tailor it for you. But in general, I always, the 4 general products I feel like everybody should have:
Yeah.
a good cleanser that doesn't strip you, a
Okay.
great vitamin C serum, a good vitamin A or a retinoid product,
Yeah.
and SPF.
And that's
Really,
like really
really
the
simple, but really effective.
definitely. And I mean, in terms of when to start, it really is as soon as possible. No,
As soon as possible. Yeah. You
yesterday
know,
if
like
possible.
if you can at least get, teenagers to wear SPF and wash their face, I'm pretty happy with that.
No, absolutely. And so when it comes to different types of skin concerns, I know acne is something that people are dealing with a lot right now,
Yeah.
especially with wearing masks and face coverings. How do you kind of recommend adding those products into the routine that you just mentioned?
Well, retinoids a lot of the time can help with
Yep.
acne. There's even specific ones like over the counter now, like adapalene, that what used to be a prescription for
Yep.
acne. And then ingredients to look for: salicylic, benzoyl peroxide, sulfur. Those are kind of 4 key ingredients I would say for acne. And you can, do those in addition to a vitamin A product, or, if you need to focus more on the salicylic or the benzoyl peroxide, that's why it's nice that there's AM and PM, because if 2 products are too irritating together, you can do one in the morning, one at night.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. So for the morning, obviously wake up, wash your face. Do all skin types, do you recommend everyone wash their face? Or if you're drier, do you maybe recommend not doing the cleanse step?
I don't think everybody needs to wash their face in the morning.
Okay.
If you do it, obviously great. Do a really gentle cleanser in the
Okay.
morning. Just to get any residual residue off of your face from the night
Definitely.
before. But most of it's been absorbed or wiped off by your pillow. If you're a face sleeper.
Yeah.
But doing a splash of water, something like that, a toner, I think that's fine. For people that need it, that are oily or acneic, then of course wash your face, but always a gentle cleanser in the morning.
Okay. Great. And then in terms of toner, as long as it's kind of alcohol free, obviously you don't want anything
Yeah.
drying. Do you think toner is good to kind of prep the skin?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessary because most cleansers nowadays are pH balanced. But if
Yeah.
you like the step, it is a chance to get some active ingredients into the skin, or calming or soothing ingredients. It can just be a nice little self-care moment, because a lot of toners smell good and you get to mist it on your face and it just
Yeah.
feels nice. So, they're not necessary, but it's a good step to kind of prep your skin too, to get it wet so your skin will absorb the products better.
And then is serum what's going to come next?
Definitely for morning, vitamin C.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there anything in particular that you recommend looking for in vitamin C? Because I think we've written about in the past, it can be a little difficult to stabilize in terms of product formulations. So are there any in particular that stand out to you or that you recommend people look for?
Yeah. L-ascorbic acid is probably the one that people see most frequently, but it's not the most stable of vitamin
Right.
C's. And it's also, because of that form, it has to be a really low pH, and it needs a little bit of alcohol to help drive it in. So it can be a little sensitizing to some people.
Okay.
So now there's tetrahexyl exorbitate, which is an oil soluble form of vitamin C, which is much, much more stable. And we're seeing that more in vitamin C ingredients.
Okay.
Now too.
Yeah.
So I really love, my absolute favorite one is Alto from Skin Better. It's
Great.
more than a vitamin C. It's actually 19 different antioxidants.
That's amazing.
It does blue light, infrared, pollution, and ozone. I mean, it just blows everything out of the water. Another great one that has the tetrahexyl that I was talking about is from Revision Skincare.
Yep.
They've got a great one. Yeah.
And vitamin C, just for anyone who at home who might not be familiar, is a really potent antioxidant that has a whole bunch of skincare benefits.
It does. I always say A and C are the most important ingredients, because A makes collagen, and C, we can't make or store collagen without it. So
Yep.
they kind of need each other.
They complement each other.
Yeah.
And so once you have your vitamin C serum on, do you recommend a moisturizer and SPF separately, or
Yeah,
do you combine them? What's your take on that?
absolutely. It's best to have them separate. Think of your SPF. It's kind of like a shield. Have you ever seen the UV cameras
Yes.
before? And when you put sunscreen on, it is black. Like that's how
Yep.
the sun sees sunscreen. So we
Yeah.
want it to be a shield. So we want to put your moisturizer down, let your moisturizer do its thing, and then put your sunscreen on to create that shield from the sun.
And if you're wearing makeup, where in kind of the routine does sunscreen go compared to the end of your skincare routine and your makeup routine?
Yeah, so skincare is always going to go first. You're going to do SPF, and then you're going to do your makeup on top of that. And if your makeup
Awesome.
has some SPF in it, that's great, but it's not the same thing.
No, it's never the same thing. You always want it separate.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention eye cream. What are your kind of position on eye cream?
My position on eye cream, if you can tolerate it, bring your products up because eye creams
Okay.
a lot of the time are just less concentrated versions of
Yeah.
face creams, unless you're sensitive or you have a specific eye concern like puffiness or dark circles.
Okay.
Those aren't going to be addressed in a face cream, obviously. Or if you need a little extra love in that area, because that area does tend to be a little drier and more sensitive.
Definitely. And then in terms of, you bring up the point that maybe bring your skincare products up to your eyes. Can we talk about what is the face? Is the face hairline to really bust line if you're thinking
Yep.
about it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So face
Yep.
and
Forehead
chest.
and nipples. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And
No.
and then whatever's left on the back of your hands, you'll thank me in 20 years.
all the places that age first.
Yes.
That I think is one of the best tips I've ever gotten is just there's always going to be leftover, and neck and chest are the perfect places.
You're always like, oh, my hands are kind of greasy. Just wipe it on the back of those
Love
hands.
it. Love that. Okay. And so when it comes to what your evening routine is going to look like, assuming you have makeup to take off, you start there, right?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of double cleansing. So doing an oil cleanser first.
Yeah.
And then doing a regular water-based cleanser. Oil breaks up oil. It's kind of a nice self-care moment too, because you can kind of, massage it in and do a little self-care. But it breaks up makeup so beautifully and without having to scrub or cause irritation. It just melts it off. So especially if you're wearing makeup or SPF, that oil cleanser really does a good job. And then getting that wet, having it emulsify, and then moving on to your regular water-based cleanser. Okay. If anything, I find that most people don't wash their face long enough. So doing that double cleanse also assures us that they're washing their face for a good amount of time.
It's actually all coming off. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that quick little, and then.
Yeah, like I'm done. No, you're not done. There's a lot to come off. I guess we're indoors now more than we have been, but when you're outside, there's just so much on your face. Yeah. If you want to do an exfoliation product of some sort, or whether it's physical or chemical or whatever it may be, how often do you recommend kind of adding that to your evening routine?
Everybody's different, so always listen to your skin. It will tell you when it's unhappy. But in general, a good rule of thumb is 2 to 3 times a week to exfoliate. Great.
And is that, what kind of skin types can tolerate exfoliation, do you think? Is it kind of most skin types that aren't overly sensitive? Okay. Yeah, all skin types can exfoliate. There are so many different forms of exfoliation, from, physical exfoliants to chemical to enzymes. If you're super sensitive, stick with an enzyme like Scan Marini Skinzyme or Cleanzyme. Those are so gentle. Any skin type could use that, even the most sensitive. And then, if you like something more of a scrub, you can do that physical exfoliant too. And even acids. There's so many different types of acids. If you're sensitive, lactic, azelaic, mandelic, even some of these new like polylactic acids, really even more gentle. So there's so many options. That's great. Okay. And so once you have taken off your makeup, cleansed, potentially done an exfoliator, we're back to the toning step again at night, correct?
Correct. Yeah. If you have that in your routine, that's when you do your toner. And then you would do any serums that you have. The vitamin C's that I recommended, they actually are AM and PM. Okay. Great. A lot of brands are moving towards that because free radical damage doesn't just stop at night. So more and more are doing AM and PM. So you would do any serums that you have. You would do your vitamin A product, your retinoid, whether that's a retinol or retinoic acid prescription. Yeah. And you would do your moisturizer on top. And so when it comes to prescription versus over-the-counter vitamin A, what are your recommendations? whatever you can tolerate,
Okay.
that you can use and use pretty frequently. You know, maybe you can't do every day, but I mean, there is a retinoid for you. You know, whether it's retinol or retinoic acid, you know, as long as you're doing it. Studies have shown that even though retinol has to convert twice in the skin to become retinoic acid,
Yeah.
and it loses efficacy that way, but studies have shown that it will get you to the same place. It just takes a little bit longer,
Okay.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're still getting to
Definitely.
the same place.
No, that's great. And so for someone who, you know, is wants to start, you know, retinol or retinoids, but is afraid
Hmm.
because they've heard from people that you might be red or blotchy or
Yeah.
flaky or a little irritated, how do you kind of recommend getting over that hump and kind of getting your skin acclimated?
Yeah. So working into it slowly is one of the keys, you know, once a week for a couple of weeks, then twice a week, then
Okay.
3 times a week. Work into it slowly. You can use the sandwich method, which is putting a moisturizer down, then your retinoid, then the moisturizer again.
Great.
Or just cutting it with a moisturizer, mixing it in. So however you work it into your routine that you get up to working it in every day or almost every day, that's totally fine.
Okay. Great.
That's going
And
to mitigate that retinization process.
okay. And
Uh,
is it safe to combine vitamin C and vitamin A, or is that
it
an
is.
okay combo? Okay.
It is.
Are there
Absolutely.
any combinations that aren't good to combine if you're using retinol?
Yeah. So you know, everything, there's so much on TikTok and Instagram about not combining certain ingredients.
Yeah.
You can combine ingredients. Obviously, it's going to depend on the person. Obviously, with some ingredients, there's greater risk of sensitivity with them, and that's
Right.
why there's caution with them. One of them, you know, is like retinol and benzoyl peroxide. They're both
Yep.
very strong, but somebody may be able to tolerate that. But it's, you know, again, work into it slowly. Try it off. You know, doing benzoyl peroxide in the AM, doing retinol at night, or there's products now like Jan Marini, they have Duality, which is benzoyl peroxide and a retinol, but
Oh,
it's
cool.
a dual pump, so it keeps it separate until you actually use it.
That's really interesting. That's great.
Mhm.
It's awesome, especially for acne, I'm sure.
It's beautiful for acne.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so when I guess what comes after your retinol? So you definitely want to seal it with some kind of
Hmm.
moisturizer, correct?
Yep, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
retinoids make you very dry. They speed up cell turnover. So good to do. Every skin type needs some kind of hydration. So do some moisturizer, and you can even do an oil on top or mix an oil into it to give it a little extra love.
I was going to ask you, are you a face oil fan?
I do. I love face oils.
And is face oil okay for all skin types? I think I personally am an oily skin girl and love a face oil. Like I've always
Yeah,
found, but I think a lot of people kind of pause at the thought of that.
absolutely. People with oily or acneic skin are always afraid of oils, but you should not be. There are certain oils that are really, really great for oily acneic skin. Um, who is it? Goals to Get Glowing. She's got a really great chart
Awesome.
on all the oils and different skin types. It's really, really helpful. But some ones that are good for acne, you know, jojoba, grapeseed, hemp, those are all really good ones that are really good for acne.
Awesome. And I saw some questions come through while we were talking, and I think it's a
Hmm.
great point. Vitamin A during pregnancy is and breastfeeding is a no go.
Right, correct.
Okay. And then I saw another one about combining vitamin C and niacinamide. Is that
Totally
something?
fine.
Okay. Niacinamide plays well with most things,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
niacinamide plays well with everything. And like I said before, like there's all these things like don't mix these things together. Most everything can be mixed together.
Yeah.
It's more a question of sensitivity and individual skin types.
And then now that we are heading into winter and the seasons are changing, do you kind of recommend adapting your skincare routine as the seasons start to change?
Yeah, especially, you know, for people like us who live in places that definitely have the 4 seasons,
Yep.
or, you know, you go from one extreme to another, not like California that's kind of the same all year round.
Yeah.
But wintertime, you know, maybe you need a more creamy cleanser. Maybe you exfoliate a little bit less. Maybe you need a heavier moisturizer, something with ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids. Or you need to add a humectant into your routine, like, you know, hyaluronic acid to help bind a little more water to your skin. I also tell people in the wintertime a really easy tip they can do is to sleep with a cool mist humidifier.
I feel like humidifiers more and more are becoming a skincare part of your skincare routine more than
Mm-hmm.
anything else. Like it's not just for a cold anymore. Like it should
No.
actually be a part of your routine.
Yep. Yeah, because it just puts some moisture back into the air, and it's not going to hurt anything, and it's
No.
good for your chest and your nasal passageways and all that stuff too.
That's great. And so when we think about the best way to apply products, you kind of hit on it earlier. I think for the most part, people might wash their face too quickly or, you just kind of slap things on. But how do you kind of make sure that you're really putting things on the way they're intended to be put on? Is there
Mm-hmm.
certain amounts that people should think about for different types of products? Like how much serum is enough serum?
Yeah. Typically, a little bit goes a long ways. You're not going to
Okay.
feel super saturated or anything like that, especially with quality products. Couple of drops will do you just fine. And when in doubt, I always say thinnest to thickest.
Okay.
It's going to be your serums. Then it's going to be treatment creams, and it's going to be moisturizer. A good rule of thumb: vitamin C and growth factors are typically somewhere first in the routine.
Okay.
And then another good rule of thumb is hyaluronic. If you have that in your routine, to do that before your moisturizer,
Okay.
because hyaluronic is a water-loving molecule and it's going to pull water from something, and we don't want it to pull water from you. We want it to pull from the moisturizer.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that's really great. Do you like hyaluronic acid for most skin types? Okay.
Love it.
I feel like that's one of the ones that's becoming as indispensable as vitamin C and vitamin A.
Yeah, it's a good one. And our just like, collagen and stuff like that, hyaluronic acid levels in our skin, they deplete as we age too.
Yeah. I feel like everything depletes.
Well, yeah. I mean,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then in terms of when you're applying a serum or an oil, is it not to rub, right? We don't want to create tension or friction unnecessarily, right? So is it better to pat in products like that, or does it matter?
I mean, obviously you shouldn't be like tugging at your skin, but if you rub it in, I do a lot of that in facials, a lot of rubbing. There's nothing wrong with that. Your skin can't tell the difference if you're rubbing or patting it in.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess to kind of wrap this up, because we've been talking for a while now, which is great. I could talk to you all night.
Okay. Yeah.
But as we kind of teased in the beginning, we really feel like skincare is self-care. And I think such an easy thing to add on to any skincare routine is a little bit of a facial massage. And I think, to your point, I think it can be worked into the way you apply your products in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of are the benefits of massaging your face?
Yeah, so face massage, I mean, obviously it provides relaxation, which we can all use a little bit of that right now. But, it gets blood flow going, helps oxygenate the skin, it's stimulating, it helps with lymphatic drainage, which is really important. So a lot of really nice benefits to it. And then, some more temporary benefits, is because of that plumping and stimulation, it can kind of tighten the skin a little bit temporarily.
Give you a little lift. Yeah.
Make it look a little more plump and beautiful.
Nobody's complaining about that.
No.
What are your thoughts on gua sha or jade rollers, or kind of adding a tool like that to your massage?
Yeah, if you need a device like that or want a device like that, absolutely, but you can always, your hands are your best tools. But some people just find it easier, or I guess, nicer to use a tool. It makes them more likely to do their routine, I guess.
Yeah, that's I mean, whatever helps.
Yeah, because it certainly aids. But so gua sha, jade rollers, cold rollers, those are really nice too. Those are really anti-inflammatory. And you can just take your oils and lotions for the night and do that gua sha or do that little bit of massage, with lymphatic drainage, everything you want to pull out to kind of the sides.
Yep.
There's kind of a port right here, if you will, behind the ear.
Yep.
Where lymphatic fluid can build.
Okay.
But our main drain is kind of right here above our clavicle bone.
Gotcha.
So that's where, everything for lymphatic drainage is going to be kind of out and down.
Okay. That makes sense. And then along the jawline, would you go back and down?
Yep, back and down.
Okay.
Yep. So it's good, to kind of open that up with a little massage right there, open up that port right there, but make sure that you bring everything down and kind of
Okay.
dump it, if you will.
Get rid of all the bad stuff.
Bring it all up and down into that port right there.
Awesome. And then how do you typically incorporate massage into your professional treatments?
It's throughout my routine. I used to, like, in school, it was very like separate, it's like cleanse, exfoliate, extractions, massage. But I just kind of incorporate massage into my whole thing. Like, even my cleansing, people are like, oh, even this cleanse is nice and relaxing. I'm like, or when I'm applying products, I do a nice little bit of massage. And so it's nice to incorporate it anywhere in a routine, honestly.
Yeah, no, it sounds so dreamy. I miss having someone like really work on your face. There's like
Yeah.
nothing else like that.
There's just something nice about somebody massaging your face.
There is. No, there, I don't think anything really beats it. But it is something you can recreate at home. So if you're using your fingers, are there certain fingers you recommend kind of work best for the massage if you're doing it yourself?
No, I mean, all of your fingers, if you like lighter pressures, kind of the outside
Okay.
fingers are going to be less strong, obviously. I like a more firm massage, so
Yeah.
I tend to use like my knuckles and my pointer and, index
Yeah.
finger to really get in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And do you think, I mean, obviously we kind of said it has that temporary lifting and firming effect. So I guess that would make it great for the morning, but it also feels like a really relaxing way to end your day too.
Yeah, it's a good, then that's really where you want to like start using your knuckles and stuff, and you can just like release some tension from the day and just kind of get in there and, get you all set for bed.
Sounds magical. And I feel like we should all be doing that tonight. It's just a nice way to treat yourself, I think, if nothing else. And to your point, like make you look forward to doing your skincare routine if it's not something you already look forward to doing.
Exactly. I've had a lot of people come in and they're like, I just started getting into skincare during quarantine.
Interesting. Yeah. But
Or like it's something positive to do, and I feel good researching it, and obviously I get some like benefits from it too, and I'm like, I love that. I hate that it took a quarantine to
get someone
get
to
into
realize
it,
the
but
benefits.
I'm glad that you started.
No, better late than never.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think it is one of those things that once you start, hopefully it just becomes so habitual that you don't stop, because I think more than anything, consistency is the most important thing with skincare.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. So whether you're doing, 2 steps or 10 steps, as long as you are consistent and doing that every day, that's the important part.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Reanne.
Yeah, of
I
course.
loved talking to you.
It was so
For
fun.
everyone watching, again, this is Reanne Kelly, the Master Aesthetician, and you can find her at the.master.esthetician, and she's definitely worth a follow. And we thank everyone so much for joining us tonight for our first ever Instagram Live, and we're so excited to do more of these in the future, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Great.
Thanks, Reanne.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Bye.